Sometimes the hardest thing to see is what's really there. Hawk hunting sharpens vision. In watching, a vivid sense of place grows, like another limb, another wing. The hawk, the drone, lives in a pouring away world of no attachment. Those of us who are anchored, earthbound, cannot envisage this freedom of the eye. He sees and remembers patterns we do not know exist. The neat squares of parking lots and courtyards, the endless and varying quadrilateral shapes of grid squares. She finds his way across the land by a succession of remembered symmetries. The hawk will also call to their hunting ground, flying up and down in lines looking for prey. They may live in a world of endless processions of objects, forever contracting and dilating in size. When the hawk is not hunting, the flight is slow and undulating, but it is always faster than it seems. Like all hunters, he has a strict code of behaviour. Ideally, prey are taken by surprise.
Fed up. To be fed up. I'm fed up. To have eaten your fill of a meal. A state of boredom. The hawk is fed up and unwilling to fly. I'm fed up with my job. I'm fed up with this place.
It goes down, around.
Under your thumb. To be under the thumb. Whose thumb? A very large thumb. The rope wraps around the little finger and is held under the thumb. The falconer's thumb is gloved. The falconer has to maintain a tight control of the bird. He holds the leash tightly under the thumb.
Wait. Right, so under the thumb, we use under the thumb in falconry to go under the thumb to secure the bird's feet, where in today's terminology under the thumb would be to have someone under your thumb, like the wife.
The drone circles under my thumb.
Circling. Circling the square.
I have them right under my thumb.
I actually think that it might be that hawks have a whole wider spectrum of colours that they can see, and so they see a lot more things than we can see, and their vision is slightly sharper than ours.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of colours do you think?
Well, I don't know much about hawk vision and human vision, the differences between them, but I think they'd see things like infrared and ultraviolet. I don't actually know whether or not, but still, they might.
So hawks and humans both see the world in colour, and actually the range of wavelengths of light that we're sensitive to is quite similar. So it's not exactly that hawks are able to see much further into different parts of the spectrum than we can, but they have a much richer experience of that vision because the range of colour that they're able to see is sort of more finely subdivided because they've got 4 colour-sensitive types of cell in the eye as opposed to the 3 that we have. So we've got 3 types of cone cells, they've got 4. And that gives them the ability to distinguish much finer gradations of colour than we would be able to do.
The hawks will probably experience the flight lab as, well, the lighting, for instance, that would be really bright for them, probably. Although some of it is sort of covered in some areas, but still. And also, for them, the sounds, they'd be so, well, loud to them. And although the space, they'd feel it was huge and open, they'd want to explore most likely. Though you can't actually tell what they'd really like to do.
One of the big challenges that we're interested in is how the birds are able to deal with negotiating obstacles in the environment. Now, there are different ways that that's been tackled with drones. So most drones at the moment just see an obstacle and then will either stop flying or fly up and over it or fly a long way around it. Really, the point of that kind of avoidance system is to stop the pilot from crashing into things. But if we can understand how the birds are seeing the environment, then that's something that we think will be a very useful thing that we can transfer across to building drones that are capable of dealing with obstacles. One insight that there already is from birds is that birds seem to see the environment less as a set of things to avoid crashing into and more as a set of opportunities. So it's a kind of glass half full rather than glass half empty approach.
So the drones are less positive than the birds, or at least we think that about the birds. We don't actually know.
Hoodwinked. Pacified.
Which we'll put one of the
To be hoodwinked is to be deceived.
on the middle and then one of the well and try. Yeah.
Blind to my tricks. The hawk is kept calm by using a small leather hood to cover his eyes. Eyes all too easily stimulated.
4 comes each, so
27th of March, drove on flight 1, 0.945. Yeah, we're ready.
Hooded, tricked into calming oneself.
This is toothless flight 3, 0.933.
The hood continues to be useful throughout his career. To force the bird to concentrate on the chosen target, the falconer hoodwinks the bird. I just got hoodwinked. To gorge. The throat is a gorge. A feathered gorge. Feathers stick in the throat.
Squaring.
Squaring the circle.
Squaring the circle.
Wrapped around the little finger. A very large finger, but held by the glove. The gloved hand is held out to the left. It aligns with the grid. The grid drapes his shoulders, his body. Circling around the little finger, little wing. The hawk has the falconer wrapped around his little finger. The city is under the thumb. The falconer has the bird under the thumb and wrapped around their little finger for extra security. The grid embraces for security. If the bird breaks free from the thumb, they would still be tethered to the little finger. Wrapped around the little propeller.
With bated breath. To listen whilst restraining. The falconer waits with bated breath for the hawk to return. Drink in sight with bated breath. Squares of breath. Taken at intervals. A breath lasting the length of a finger, the length of an arm, the length of the streets.
Haggard. The city is a haggard. Easy to see, easy to tame. Haggard is the hawk caught from the wild. Haggard is hard to tame.
At the end of my tether. Extending the length of the breath. 4 wing beats squared. Tethered in 4 directions. The falconer baits at the end of their tether. Forgetting his tether, he baits against the leash. To bait from the arm is to attempt to fly away. The hawk attempts to fly but is held back by their leash. He gets short of breath. The breath is baited breath. The drone awaited her instructions with bated breath.
To be callow. A young hawk without feathers for flight. The drone has lost her feathers. The molting hawk will sink. Callow in experience. Easily hoodwinked, wrapped around the little feather and under the wing. The chaperone.
Tom says dairy is standing firm for now, with 97% of households still
A blind protector.
milk products. And he says some farmers are fighting back with high-end, high-value.
The falconer's hood is his chaperone.
I was in dairy and I was advising my children about what they should do in dairy.
The hawk is the falconer's chaperone in flight.
So they're sort of cutting out that middle. The supermarket doesn't take the middle, they get the value, they can sell it direct to consumers. So I think that's the future. The other avenue is look at what people are willing to pay more for. So that's things, the sort of new trendy things like barista milk, say, or high protein. Barista milk, yeah, you know, especially for coffee, right, which may or may not be better tasting with your coffee. It's people are curious, what is barista milk? I want to try that, I'm going to pay 50 pence more for it. And suddenly that's more value coming back to farmers.
Are mainstream farmers ready to challenge vegan choices by rebranding dairy for the modern age? Back on Abby Reader's farm, she feels we just need to keep it all in perspective.
There every single person that picks up a bottle of milk to think of farms like mine and think I can trust that. We'll support it.
The hawk eats up the sky, soaring in rotations. The drone gorges on clouds, carving up the grid.